Mark here, Wednesday, June the 10th, 8:40 a.m. Eastern, 12:40 p.m. GMT. Let's look how the market's shaping up now that the US session is underway, and importantly, CPI data has been released. Numbers pretty much in line with consensus, if anything, tilted maybe to the downside in the monthly numbers, and the market has reacted that way. Have a look at the US dollar index for starters. There you see the red candlestick US dollar index being sold off. I've got resistance at 99.79. I've got support at 99.58. We'll see if that does continue during the US session. If we see US dollar being sold off, if the support can be tested, if sellers add to the losses so far, or if we do see buyers step in, which is so often the case. You can see the wicks on the previous two daily candlesticks that have started solid red. Buyers have stepped in, and that's why we see the wick at the bottom of the body. We'll see if that does. Same pattern today. If buyers step in at the support level and look back up at that 99.79 resistance and at that important 100 level. But to start the US day, following those numbers, we are seeing weak US dollar. Let's have a look at the S&P. We're looking at the futures market for now. Still an hour, just under an hour till Wall Street opens up. Here we're seeing a bit of an inverse relationship. Weak US dollar, strong equities. Started off weak, solid red candlestick. There you see the wick left behind. That buyers have stepped in. I've got support at 7,361, strong support level. I've got resistance at 7,456. If we do see demand for equities in the S&P, buyers will look to test that resistance level. If we do get a turnaround from weak to strong US dollar, could see equities being sold off and then a return to the red candlestick, sellers stepping in and the support being tested. But for now, in the futures market, looking bullish for equities as the US session does get underway. Let's have a look at gold. Started off during the Asian European session, solid red candlestick, support at 4,132, resistance at 4,226. Slight wick we're seeing now. That's following the data release and US dollar weakening, inverse relationship, weak US dollar, strong gold, buyers stepping in. We'll see if this can be continued, if buyers will continue with this push higher, the bounce, and look back up at this 4,226 resistance. Overall, downtrending gold and hasn't really been able to recover, particularly from the strong job numbers we saw last week on Friday, which added to the strong downtrend in gold being sold off. Let's see today whether we do get a bounce and buyers can look back up at this resistance area. Brent oil hanging around that $90 level. Today, doji-like candlestick confirming the indecision. I've got support today at $90.64 and I've got resistance at $93.50. Oil certainly trading not really on daily headlines, but on an overall optimistic view, oil being a forward-looking market, and the optimism based on a deal being reached between US, Iran, the Straits being open, supply not being totally disturbed, and supply will return. An optimistic view is seeing sellers controlling activity for now. That's the red candlesticks you see. If there is a turnaround and we go from optimism to pessimism, that could well see prices break above this resistance area and look back up at that 100 mark. Bitcoin fought back a little bit, was a solid red candlestick through the Asian European session, fighting back. You see the wick now, doji-like candlestick, confirming the indecision, very narrow trading range. I've got resistance at 60,600 and a very strong support, support at 60,600, and the 60,000 is being guarded by buyers. Buyers have stepped in at this, around this area. That's exactly what we're seeing today. I've got intraday resistance at 62,000. That's the level that buyers will look to test, and in an attempt to reverse this downtrend, bounce up off this support area, look back up above the 62. Even there's the 64, kind of a double top formation, but a long way to go. Lack of demand in Bitcoin. We've seen that this downtrend, if I scroll out, has been in place. You can see from the beginning of May, and overall, there's the strong downtrend that we are seeing from that 120,000 at the end of last year in October. And now looking to test this very significant support level. We'll see if sellers can do that, or if buyers do eventually get to reverse this trend. Good trading. Keep that discipline. I'll see you at the end of day.